I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller.
Good morning, Scott Duff.
Good morning and welcome to Out Chicago, where we speak freely without fear or favor.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a lot of F's.
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of F's that we give.
That's a lot of F's.
We give a lot of F's. We speak freely without fear or favor. Yeah. There you are. How you doing there?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah, we'll love it.
Fun stories to share.
Wonderful. Well, hey, we've got a fantastic show. Look, another F that we are giving.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Award-winning comic and Chicago's very own Cameron Esposito is bringing her new show, Feat, F-E-A-T, to Steppenwolf for 3 shows only on October 3rd and 4th. Ellen and I had a chance to sit down with Cameron to chat about the show and about finding joy and laughter from the darkest of places. It was a great conversation. Can't wait to share with you.
It could have gone on for an hour.
Oh my gosh, yes. It was like every time she's on the show, it's just kind of like, let me just goof on YouTube because I adore her and she's done so much for queer representation in
she's a force
in comedy. Yeah. And it's that time of year, Reeling 2025, the 43rd Chicago LGBTQ plus International Film Festival opened on Friday, and Morgan Fox is going to be joining us to talk about the lineup for the fest, for the rest of the fest.
Always fun to talk reeling.
Always fun. You're a judge.
I was a judge.
Was that supposed to be secret? Should I have said that?
It's out there. Yeah. It was fun. I watched 5 movies in like 6 days. So
alrighty, well there we go.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Alrighty, yeah. And of course, we would love to hear from you. And the Credo mobile phone and text line is open at 773-763-9278. The number again is 773-763-9278 to call or text. And also, WCPT listeners now get 25% off 2 years at Credo Mobile with the code WCPT25. Credo Mobile, a progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. And of course, you can tune into us right here on WCPT 820 AM on TuneIn, heartlandsignal.com, or watch the live video stream on the WCPT Facebook page or the Heartland Signal a YouTube page. So what's been going on with you?
Well, I had a kind of a fun little, we're not traveling a lot because our pup Maggie has been fighting lymphoma, so we haven't been taking any long trips, but we put a couple of small trips together. And but before we left on Wednesday, for our friend has a cottage up in New Buffalo, and it's got a beautiful pool, and we took our doggy there.
That's where Maggie likes to swim.
Maggie and I were swimming laps together, and it was just a special memory that we'll never forget. The weather was great. We tried to go in late June. We tried to go in August. Weather didn't cooperate. But here we were in late September, and it was fantastic. Last week. So we did that. But the night before, Scott, Kathy and I we're going to the Outlaw Music Festival in Alpine Valley. I have not been to Alpine Valley since 1989, the Rolling Stones Steel Wheel tour, where I said it would take a Beatles reunion, including John Lennon. George was still with us, to get me to go back to that venue. Okay. But 39 years is a long time.
There you go.
Willie Nelson, 92, Bob Dylan, 82, Sheryl Crow, 82. No, there's 63 and kicking, but she pointed out her own age. But anyway, there was an artist named Madeline Edwards who we had not heard of, and we listened to her on Spotify. And it turns out she was playing at Shuba's Tuesday night, and the night before we left for Michigan. And we go, she sounds great. She's just 3 blocks from our house.
Like right around the corner.
Let's go see her. Yeah. And so we went, and it was a Tuesday night. People aren't that familiar with her. It was sparsely attended, but an enthusiastic 20 or 25 people.
All right, yeah.
And I spoke with her at the intermission as she was congratulating and thanking the band that opened for her, and I had to be sitting close to the stage on the side, and I said, "Are you Madeline?" We struck up a conversation, and I said, "My wife." "Oh, your wife." Then she saw. She goes, "Oh, you two are so cute. Let's come after. I want to talk to you more." So we just bonded with her.
All right.
In a way that was fantastic. I said, if you ever come back to Chicago, or we live if you come back to Shuba's, please stay with us. You don't have to stay in a hotel. I would love that. And told her what we cooked for dinner that night and barbecue salmon. I want you to make barbecue salmon for me. She said, "So do you guys have tickets for the Outlaw Fest?" I go, "Well, we're going to buy them at the fest." She goes, I'll put you on my list.
What?
I said, and these tickets were not cheap. And I was like, really?
Wow.
She goes, give me here's my phone number. Give me your text. So when we got home, she's like, it was great meeting. I go, it was great meeting. She goes, what's Kathy's last name? I want to put you on the list. I go, there's one other issue. I go, we're going with another friend. There's 3 of us. And if it's a problem, we'll just buy. So I can take care of all 3 of you. And
all right.
So we show up at Alpine, got there early because she was at 4:00. We wanted to make sure we were there for her set.
Right.
We go to the box office. We get our tickets. 3rd row center.
What?
Center, 3rd row.
What?
Those tickets were going for over $400 each.
Wow. All righty. Come on, Madeline.
There was nobody sitting in front of us for the first 3 acts, which were her, Waxahachie, and Sheryl Crow. And so it was just us looking at the artists. Spencer Tweedy is the drummer for Waxahachie, and he, at the end of the set, because he pointed his drumstick at me and gave me a shout out. It was just magic.
How wonderful.
It was just magic. We were pinch me for where we were sitting and how we were able to get there. And unfortunately, there were those seats, I think, were banned for the band members because the people in front, someone in Dylan's band had given them seats, and they had upgraded other people's seats for the couple of seats in front of us. And these were the most self-centered, not aware, and these were not young people. They were so excited they were at the front that they were just turning around, talking to the crowd. One couple was dancing and making out and asking someone to take their picture. I mean, it's like, what is wrong with you people? Just because you're in the front, have some respect for the people that have paid big money to sit here or whatever, But
wait, I'm confused as to what they were doing. So they were standing?
They were standing. Even though they were in the front row, they were standing.
Okay.
And up to the railing of the front, and just kind of turning around and like conversing with people in the crowd. It's like, we don't want to talk to you. Willie is up here. Bob Dylan is up here.
Gotcha.
Shut the F up.
There we go.
But it was a little distracting. And last night we got to watch we watched Farm Aid, which all the artists except Sheryl Crow left directly from Outlaw Festival in Alpine in Wisconsin, drove up to Minnesota where they all performed because Willie was the headliner once again. Mm-hmm. And Kathy and I came away looking at Willie. Even though we were like so close to Willie, we got to appreciate it better on television because of the distraction of some of these people. But anyway, Willie Nelson is a force. Sheryl Crow, Neil Young last night on Farm Aid gave a blistering. He started out with No More Great Again, his song he debuted in Chicago a few weeks about the Trump administration. And he didn't let up the whole time. Right. Every song he did was political. It was just, like I said, a blistering, and just we were like cheering him on because these voices, and we'll get to it, our voices they're trying to silence us.
Oh, yeah.
And the more we can be loud, the better we're feeling about, our side of things. But just a beautiful experience up in seeing these lovely, wonderful, fantastic artists. And, seeing Neil Young a couple weeks ago and Bob Dylan and Willie Nelson, I just feel really grateful and blessed. And thank you, Madeline Edwards. You are going places. The crowd loved her, and
Where is she from?
She is from originally. She was born in California. She grew up in Houston, and she moved to Nashville a few years ago. And her first record, Scott, her brother was schizophrenic and took his own life in 2023, and she came up with a whole album about mental illness, and her label dropped her.
Oh wow!
Because they didn't. How labels are.
Yeah.
Well, she's put it out herself, and it's doing well, and it's resonating with people because she said it's something that people just don't talk about, which affects so many of us, whether it's suicide or mental health disorders. And she is grieving openly about, and her voice is beautiful. Her words are beautiful. She's just such a wonderful person. And Kathy and I are just so.
So is it like country, folky, rock? How would you describe her style?
Singer-songwriter,
so like acoustic.
Americana, I'd call her. Acoustic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
She plays acoustic guitar, has a guitarist back here, plays a little keyboard as well. She's the two of them. We're on tour together.
Oh, all right.
I check it out on Spotify, wherever you get your music. Madeline Edwards, up and comer, a beautiful person inside and out. And she took a liking to us.
All right, well, come on,
She made our
Madeline.
experience very memorable.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we feel very, very like we had a very special experience. So that was our weekend.
I love it.
How about you?
Well, girl, I'm a grandma again.
What happened?
My nephew and his
Had
wife
a
had a
baby.
baby.
Had the baby.
They had the baby.
Congratulations.
Yes, I am doing my third time grandma to Everett David. They're calling him Rhett.
Rhett.
Yep.
Oh, that's
I'm
a
like,
cool
all right,
name.
I'm like, come on.
Everett. I like that.
Everett, but spelled with an H
Okay.
in there, so they're calling him Rhett.
Rhett.
I guess. There we are.
Sounds like
I can't believe that my nephew is a dad. It's so weird.
I will not believe it
To me.
if mine ever become dads. It'll be hard to
it
believe.
is just it is strange. It is odd.
How old is he?
30.
Okay, so he's appropriate age.
Yeah. I mean, he's married. He's been married for a while, Yeah, so that's exciting.
That's it.
The family, thank you so much. And I want to give a big old shout out to Paul. Paul, you did a really good job filling in for Patty Vasquez this Friday, running things around and talking smart and stuff. Yeah. I love it. You were amazing.
Thank you.
And also, big old shout out to Jonah Esposito. Friday was my day of Espositos.
I know.
Because we had Cameron Esposito in the morning, and then I had Joan Esposito in the afternoon. Always great to join her to sit down and chat about culture and arts and how that is reflected here in our culture and everything, especially as things are getting down. Well, hey, also just to let everybody know out there, on Monday on Live, Local, and Progressive, Joan Esposito will be talking to John Fugelsang, author of the New York Times bestseller Separation of Church and Hate, A Sane Person's Guide to Taking Back the Bible from Fundamentalists, Fascists, and Flock-Fleecing Frauds. Look at all those Fs. Look at all those Fs that are happening there that John Fugelsang, he gives a lot of Fs. And Pat Creetlow, founder and editor of Up North News. And also this week, Jonah will be talking to retired Major General Randy Manner, Mother Jones National Votes Writing correspondents Ari Berman, and Sam Helmick, president of the American Library Association, ahead of next month's Banned Books Weeks. And that's all on Live, Local, and Progressive, weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., heartlandsignal.com, and on TuneIn. So it's been kind of, we have doggy house guests that are going in. Our friends are going to Riot Fest, and one's going to Riot Fest. The other one went out of town, and she's like, "Can you take my dogs for the weekend?" Dogs. We have two. Yeah, but they're small. One is small. One is the most emotionally manipulative hound you will ever encounter in your life. But the three of them, they're the good boy.
Get along with them.
They're the good boy gang.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's been nice having, like, we got a house full of pups, and we're getting ready to officiate a wedding. Jerry and I were doing it as a couple, and so we chatted with the couple.
This isn't your first rodeo, though.
We've both done officiated weddings before, but we've never done one together as a couple.
Yeah, I've done a few weddings, but I've not done as a couple. Yeah.
So it'll be. I mean, it's very exciting, but it's in 2 weeks. It's like, oof.
Yeah, you'll be great. Come on, it's like riding a bike. You'll be fine.
I guess. Yeah. But it's like it's your friends. You want to make it really special.
Yeah, I know. I was a little nervous at a couple of the ones I did.
We want to make sure that it's good.
It will be good.
It will be. I have every confidence in our ability
as you should.
to officiate a wedding and just kind of jibber jabber and talk.
I know you can.
Yes, we can totally do it.
But like they say, if you don't have a little bit of nerves for any performance, it's not going to be as great.
That's true. It's true. But yeah, so we had a big old meeting together yesterday to try to hammer out, how do you want the shape of this? What do you want it to look like? And the thing that they are really, really driving home, which I think is also kind of pertinent for us as a culture, is really a celebration of community. It is about the people. She's getting married in her backyard. There are going to be about 70 people here, and she's like, these are the people that I expect to be getting old and having dinner parties with. You know, the people that I want to start my commune with. You know,
we have some people we're talking about that with as well.
Yeah, girl,
our old age commune.
I'm all about the old age commune. Let me tell you,
there's gonna be a lot of hootenannies at ours.
I know. Well, if you can find some property or whatever, you know, that's kind of what
in a safe area.
Yeah.
A bunch of lesbians.
Yeah. So no, but that's kind of the idea, you know. They really wanted to make sure that it's like it is of course about them, but it's about the larger us. It is about us as a group of loved ones coming together, to support them, but also to support each other and to be to expand the circle, to be included in one another's lives, which I think is a really great sentiment, especially with things that are happening right now. I was listening to a show earlier this morning on the radio when I was taking my dog out for a walk, and there was a news program was doing a feature on activism in Chicago and how Chicago has a great history. Many people consider Chicago the birthplace of like community organizing. We have a long, rich history of activism and of protesting and peacefully protesting. And they were doing a feature on folks because as we know, ICE is here. ICE is doing some pretty
horrible,
janky
things.
Stuff that's going on right now, and a lot of tear gas and a lot of weird tear bullets, and one guy even doing a chokehold, which was. But they were talking to people who have been longtime Chicagoans who this might be their first. Time actually stepping up and their first time entering into that activist space. And one of the people they interviewed, he was saying how, like, look, when this administration came in and I started watching all of these rights disappear for people, like right off the bat, and when we're looking at the rather quick decline of and demise of democracy, he's like, I could either feel bad and sit and doom scroll, or I could do something and try to have my voice heard. And so he decided to unplug from the scrolling and plug into the community. And that, I think, is really what's going to get us through some really, really hard times ahead. I think we really need to... Social media is such an incredible tool for so many reasons, but it's also such a horrible. It
can be a cesspool.
Well, it is a cesspool. It really, I don't think it can be. I think it is. It's like all you get are it's an echo chamber of reassurance, regardless of whose side you're on. And what it has done, it's just dividing us even more. And as I said, where we are right now, one half of the country thinks the other half is evil, and vice versa. That we are just convinced that there is evil in the world, and it's because of we are being fed news stories that aren't the same news stories.
That's true.
And it's going on. So I thought the idea of unplugging from your phone and from scrolling and plugging into a community and actually being with people and interacting with people to be a wonderful thing to be putting out there. I
enjoyed a lot of that myself. I didn't do much of that. We were just trying to immerse ourselves in positive experiences, musically and with friends, and just kind of get away from all of the other horrible things that are in front of you on your phone. The minute you open it up, you're going to see, as you said, what's going to continue to back up whatever it is you basically believe in the first place. But there is so many false things that you see on there. I mean, all these videos that pop up. A
lie will go around the world quicker than the truth.
God, and I'm like, even we get a little fooled, and we like to think of ourselves as being able to discern what is real and what isn't. And you're like, oh my God, even this kind of tricked me for a minute. What are people that aren't as astute about it or informed about it? They're looking at this as gospel when it's complete BS.
There's no longer is there the common good. Nobody really feels that that is a thing. We are isolating. We are getting into our own camps. You can just see it like walking out in the world. There are so many people who are just plugged in, as opposed to just experiencing where they are, and that is a big concern of mine, and something that I'm really trying to fix in my own behaviors and my own uses online.
Luckily, living in a city like Chicago, we have a lot of distractions because we have all the culture, the arts, the beauty, the nature. There are things to keep your mind off of it and to do. You don't have to be on your phone to have a good life, a good experience. But there are people that live in more isolated places that probably there's not, if you live in a small town somewhere, there's just not the depth and breadth, and they get all their info and entertainment from their phone. And I don't know how that's going to change. The genie, I don't know how we're going to put the genie back in the bottle.
It's not.
No.
But I just think we need to be aware of the genie and the havoc that he is causing around.
Yes.
And so it was great to kind of have to talk with these people, with my friends that Jerry and I are going to be marrying, and they really want to stress the importance of community, the importance of connection, the importance of working together to help create a new future.
It's a beautiful thing. And that's a good premise for you to work on. So.
I know. So that is where we're going from, and I think that we can kind of take a little note from that. So that's it. That's what I have to say right there.
Okay.
But you know what I do have to say right now? We should probably take a break. But before we go, this part of Out Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you are having trouble keeping up with your bills, it's time to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender, about a fresh start debt consolidation mortgage. Sam, he's 56. He's a press operator, earning $90,000 a year, living in a $300,000 single-family home with a $150,000 mortgage. Now, despite having equity in his home, Sam missed his January mortgage payment, which dropped his credit score more than 60 points and prevented him from refinancing until February of the next year. Now, if Sam had called Team Hochberg in December, they could have helped him pay off his debt, avoid missing his mortgage payment, and enhance his credit score. So if you are struggling with bills and have equity in your home, call Team Hochberg now, not tomorrow, not next week or next month, at 855-563-2843. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of WCPT listeners, but they can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. The number again is 855-563-2843 or visit the website you know and love, 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the continuing fallout from the murder of Charlie Kirk. We're talking about the disappearance of free speech. We got a lot to talk about, and we would love to hear from you. So call or text the Credo mobile phone and text line at 773-763-9278. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, there's more Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'm Jen Grosshandler.
And I'm Chazzy Grosshandler.
We're with the Gender Cool Project, and you're listening to
Out Chicago!
Woot!
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller.
I love that we're both wearing our white with black lettering rock and roll shirts.
There we are. Well, yes.
He's got his Missy Elliott.
I'm a Missy shirt.
I have my Neil Young.
That is what.
But they're funny. They're very similar.
I know that is.
I never wear white T-shirts.
Mine is pink.
Is yours pink?
It's a little blush.
Oh, it's
a little blush and bashful.
I couldn't see under the stage
I know,
lights.
it's under the lights underneath here.
I can see
across.
now.
It kind of fits into my skin tone a little bit there. Yes, but we know, look, we need to bring something that's going to bring us joy,
That's true.
And I need a little Missy Elliott sometimes to get me through the day.
I need my Neil Young.
And there you go.
Speaking truth to power.
Singing truth to power. There we are. Girl, this is like, this is just madness and wackadoo that
and it's not going away. It seems like it's just picking up,
momentum.
Yeah, momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't look at social media because I was at a show that started, I was there from 3 o'clock till, midnight, basically, so I wasn't messing with. But when I did eventually kind of scroll the next day, people are doubling down that are, coming from a place where, we are saddened by his death. It is wrong, but how you live your life, doesn't
matters.
Just because you die, if you lived a life filled with hatred, and as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, we felt lots of that from him. You can't deny that, and people are doubling down on that. They're like, he's horrible.
And by him, you're talking about
Charlie Kirk. Yeah, and then of course everybody else is doubling down on their wanting to martyr him. So I don't know where this is going. I know his public funeral is happening today in Arizona at the football stadium. Trump is talking. His vice president is talking.
Jennifer Convertibles is coming.
Convertibles is coming. So I'm sure there'll be sound bites of all sorts of divisive, hateful things coming out of it, as opposed to trying to unify, because it ain't happening. It's never happening with him.
That's the thing that's just been so frustrating, and that's been like really feeding the fuels of the fires. Look at all those Fs that I'm giving, because I give an F.
We're giving lots of
Fs today. Because every other president, no matter
what party they were in,
always stopped him. Like, there is no place for political violence. There's no place for that here.
He's an anomaly.
None whatsoever.
He is not even a leader.
He's not a leader. I want to know who is pulling the shots. That
Stephen
strings,
Miller.
that crazy, creepy Stephen Miller is
He's
doing that.
Definitely the architect.
What's going on over there? And right now, this was the big thing on their platform that they were running for was all about free speech. And free speech is we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. And with this horrible event, with this horrible murder of Charlie Kirk, the conservative pundit who spent most of his time making racist and homophobic statements. Let's just get that clear. And a little hand fart there to show what a turd he was to many people. And with his death, as you said, there's so many people who are trying to make a martyr out of him. And anybody, folks making critical statements about the gun-loving homophobic racist are being fired or even asked to step down from their positions. Like the MSNBC fired somebody right on the spot after the day that he passed away on the 10th. There are people who are being asked to step down from positions. There are Ding Dong, Dear Leader Ding Dong is trying to put together a list of like anybody who has made a list, and we're going to go after you. It's all about retribution. And it's all about like, it's about revenge. Yeah,
I heard him interviewed on the plane back from England, and he said, they all they all say bad things about Trump. I love how he uses his third. And he said, they're all gonna, they can't say bad things. Basically, he's saying you cannot say bad.
You cannot be critical. You cannot be critical about those in power.
Typical authoritarian behavior.
Yes, which is not what we're about.
Scott, this is the thing that I've said this before on the show that really haunts me on a daily basis. How good people, and there are good people that are following him. They are, I believe, essentially they are good people. They care about other people. But how good people can follow such a horribly bad character, a rapist, an alleged rapist, a pedophile, a liar, a criminal.
Well, he's no longer alleged. He was indicted. For sexual assault.
For sexual assault, and we know that there's so much more. How they can put all this aside because of what he offers them, and all he offers them is their answer to white grievance. This is what it's based on. I don't like trans people. I don't like gay people. I don't like minorities that got a leg up. It is just based on fear, racism, and hatred. And I don't know why this country continues to have good people follow such a horrible monster of a person in our president.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I think some of them are waking up. I do believe some of them are, but I don't know if it's enough. We'll find out next year, won't we?
With what? With the quote of the elections?
Well, I'm hoping that they're going to be fair. I'm hoping. I have to have the hope.
All right.
I can't give up the hope that they're fair.
It's true.
Because if people don't think they're fair, they won't go out and vote.
Well, I know. We'll still have to go out and vote and do all that. But that's... I don't know. We are in a really sticky place. What's going on here? I mean, I know... especially around this very controversial figure who has said stuff like black women cannot, you can't think, they can't process information, and that black women are all DEI hires and they're taking jobs away from white men. You have people talking, this person who is spewing hate about trans people, this person who is spewing hate about, LGBTQ people, this person who spewed hate and vitriol towards, as you were saying, to black and brown communities, to immigrants. We are a nation of immigrants. That is how we're all here.
That's how we got here.
And the way that they are canonizing him is very upsetting.
It is
and
really
again,
upsetting.
It goes back to...
It's disturbing.
Well, it goes back to the whole idea of just ignoring the truth of what he said.
Yeah, his words are
words,
out there.
Those words that came out of his mouth, and all because it lines up with their conservative white nationalism, Christianity point of view.
They feel we should be a country of Jesus. And you know what? If we were truly a country of Jesus, none of the things Charlie Kirk said would be what Jesus would have said or what true Christianity is supposed to be about. But I don't understand why they allow this hypocrisy because, love thy neighbor, treating people.
Well, they're all there, but their big response is always, and will continue to be, is love the sinner, not the sin.
Oh, I know.
But even that doesn't seem to be true.
No.
They want to deny trans people the right to own a gun. There's all of these things that their marriage equality is going to be on the docket coming up. Just you wait. They're rounding up people who are here, going through the legal process to become a citizen, or they are immigrants here legally, going the right way, but they want them all out. It just does not make any sense, and they are going after people's livelihoods too. You saw with the FCC commissioner dude who was and ding dong saying that 97% of what's set at me is bad, so maybe we should just pull everybody's license, their FCC license, things it's awful. And they're going after folks in small towns and in smaller communities, our Moms for Liberty in Lake County. It's okay. So they are a crazy group. They are very extreme. They call them, they say that they are, quote, dedicated to the survival of America by unifying, educating, and empowering parents to defend their parental rights at all levels of government. And they called for the termination of our good friend, Carolyn Hyman Pinta. She's a middle school teacher. She's also the founder of the Pinta Pride Project and BG Pride. And like I said, a longtime friend of the show. Yes. And this is all according to the Lake McHenry scanner. The group said that they heard from many parents complaining about Pinta, this is their quotes, who the group said made references to Nazis while responding to Charlie Kirk's death on social media. Moms for Liberty at Lake County also took aim at Pinta for affirming students at school and working on activist projects during the school day. She did post that she disagreed vehemently with what things that they have said, but the thing that she came forward was what we've been talking about, the fact that they're turning him into a martyr and making him into canonizing this sort of thing. It reminds somebody of young people in uniforms, back in the day. There was a board meeting that happened this week. There were so many people who came out in support of Pinta in defending free speech. And even the principal said, you know what, anything that is said on social media does not reflect what is happening to the school values. That's their personal thing. This has nothing to do with school. I've been reaching out to her just to be like, hey, how are you doing? How are you holding up? And she's been, it's a lot. It's a lot and everything. But even this is a very dark and scary time. There are people that have been writing letters to not only to the school board, but they've been also sending them to Washington for some unknown reason. Because again, putting people on like this list. Another thing, Charlie Kirk, he was putting people on the professor watch list. There are at least 50 professors that are here in Chicago and some of Illinois that are on the watch list that have been getting death threats because of the perceived and exaggerations of what they are teaching in their classrooms. It is a war on free speech. It is a war on education. It's crazy, but even like as you were talking about, like there is hope that there is some sort of like resilience. Carolyn, she posted like, you know what really is getting me through this is my ability to help make somebody smile. And she has been asking folks to be a part of their letter writing campaign. Like when you were feeling, because what they do is they send affirming cards to young people just to say, we got your back. We're here for you. And she's like, I've been doing that and it's been bringing me much joy. And if you want to be involved, check out the Pins of Pride Project. And that's a way of doing something, of trying to, of being active as opposed to just sitting and scrolling and sitting in your emotions as it's an action.
And it's something you can do. And, right now there are a lot of people feeling helpless and hopeless, but there are things we can do. There's another No Kings March happening in October, I believe. I don't know the exact date, but I think it's going to be huge. I think things have just continued to inspire people to come out and have their voices heard, because what is going on is just hurtful. It's hurtful whether you're a part of the LGBTQ community, whether you're a black person, a brown person, a trans person. I mean, this Charlie Kirk and his are trying to erase Carolyn Pinta's daughter. That's what they really want to do.
They're trying to erase everybody.
Everybody that is different.
That is not like them.
From them. The fact, though, that they continue to put this man on a pedestal for the hateful things he says, I can see why people need to continue to be vocal about it, because it shouldn't be. We can't accept it. We cannot accept hatred as something that we look up to and that we celebrate. It just is not to be celebrated.
You are correct about that, but and that's probably a good time for us to take a quick little break. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be continuing to talk about the new cancel culture in town, and it's coming from the right. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
I'm Honey West. Welcome to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, just rolling along here. I want to remind you that indeed the Credo mobile phone and text line is open. 773-763-9278. And just a reminder, WCPT listeners can get 25% off 2 years at Credo Mobile with the code WCPT25. Credo Mobile, a progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. It's so interesting to me about how the whole cancel culture thing has flipped.
Yeah.
Flipped, because it was the left was the one that, let's be honest, left started it. Left started the cancel culture when it came out, especially during like the Me Too movement, was really picking up steam. There was a lot of folks who were just like, all right, we got to show people like with our wallets or whatever, I still do not go to Target. It is, there are things that we do that we try to do. But now, and the right was getting all upset because of like free speech, where you have a right to say this. Again, free speech does not mean that you are free of consequences of what you are saying. And I think a lot of their initial reaction was like people being silenced on social media, mostly because they were spewing hate or lies.
Yeah, or lies, yeah.
Or just straight up lies.
Yeah.
But that became their mantle.
Yes.
Dear Leader Ding Dong, at the inauguration, these are his words. He said that he will immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America. Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents. Let that sink in. That's what he said on Inauguration Day on January 20th. And now, just on Thursday, he claimed without evidence that 97% of the coverage of him on network television was negative, suggesting that, quote, maybe their license should be taken away, unquote, for airing such overwhelmingly negative content. We saw the latest person who is now subject to that, which is Jimmy Kimmel, was indefinitely suspended this week for being critical of MAGA and our current authoritarian regime. And Ellen Miller, you were the first person that I thought of because I know he's your guy.
Yeah, I watched Jimmy Kimmel the first night he was ever on television. I'd never heard of him. He was on after the Super Bowl 20 some years ago, and I just
hasn't been that long.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, wow.
And I liked him. And that was before he was really espousing his political views. I liked his comedy. I liked his sensibility. And then when things, continued to escalate in the area of the horrible Trump regime, starting in 2017 when he took office, Jimmy was very vocal, which made me love him even more. And, he has been anybody that talks about him, like Colbert and Kimmel, they've been on Trump's radar. His FCC guy, Brendan Carr, who is, by the way, if you don't remember, he's one of the architects, one of the writers of the Project 2025. Project 2025, the FCC chairman, is one of the writers, one of the authors. This was an excuse to take him off the air. His joke was about Trump not really grieving because, as we know, he cares about nobody but himself. And
the joke that really got him in trouble was about... He said that MAGA is trying right now, without knowing anything, to desperately make the narrative that it is not, that they are not, he's not one of
their own.
Yeah, well, not one of their own. It is true, he is not one of their own. But he was talking about the immediacy and the 100% certainty that they were responding to the incident by saying that, like, no, he's a crazy left-wing trans lover.
Well, they said that before they even knew.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what the joke was. They spent all weekend trying to come up with talk about anything other than the very real possibility that could have happened.
Right.
Sorry, that's the joke.
That is, but he also that night went on to talk about how his grieving is a joke because they asked, "How are you doing?" He goes, "I'm doing really well," and started talking about the new ballroom.
Yes, that's the new stage of grief, demolition.
But the bottom line is that was their excuse for taking him off the air. He's been in the crosshairs, just like Steven is in the crosshairs, Seth Meyers, even Jimmy Fallon, whose jokes are,
he is so apolitical. Jimmy Fallon is blech.
But Trump cannot stand any kind of joke at his expense.
Yeah, it goes back to the correspondence dinner when President Obama raked him over the coals.
And he's thin-skinned, as we know. He's a typical, you can dish it out, but you can't take it kind of guy. And because he's mentally deficient. We know he's got all kinds of narcissistic, mental problems, issues. But Jimmy this is really, I think it's a unifying for so many people. Even people that don't pay any attention to Jimmy Kimmel are upset. Look at some Republicans have come out. Ted Cruz.
Which shocked me. It was like, ooh.
He doesn't like Jimmy, but he doesn't like that his free speech was denied. Even Tucker Carlson. I mean,
because here's the thing.
That's their big deal, is the free speech.
It's free speech. It is about, you are free to say whatever you want to say. Now, again, that doesn't mean that they are without consequences. The joke was not... It wasn't that great. It wasn't even a joke. It was just more of an observation about the political spin that it was happening over the weekend.
Yeah, it's true.
And what they want to do and how you do things in an authoritarian regime is you silence the critics. And comedians are critics of everybody. like any sort of art, artists hold a mirror up to society.
Yep.
To show, to see what's reflected back to you. With comedy, it's a bit of a funhouse mirror. So things are a little bit skewed and a little bit exaggerated or whatever, but it's still being to show, like, these are the foibles. And the comedians, historically, have been the critics of people in power. And you cannot have criticism if you want to have an authoritarian regime. So you get rid of them. You silence them. You start with Stephen Colbert when you have your buddy decides to buy Paramount, and that becomes their decision or whatever. Then you have one of the, as you said, one of the architects of Project 2025 now in charge of the FCC saying vaguely like, well, they should do the right thing. Otherwise it's going to get real hard for them. That was a blatant threat.
Totally.
A blatant threat. And then they're going to go after Jimmy Fallon, who, again, he is such milquetoast when it comes to his criticism. I get it. That's his kind of vibe. He doesn't want to be hateful. He's kind of a happy, clappy, slappy kind of guy.
And something
which is
for
fine,
everybody
which
out
is
there.
what he does. But, you can see them kind of
Nobody should pick on Jimmy Fallon. I know behind the scenes they say he's, like bad to his staff, but like,
really?
isn't
I
he
didn't
the
know
one?
about that.
There was like a rumor about that.
Right,
But,
everybody's always
but
bad.
wasn't he like the one that played nice and like had Trump on the Tonight Show? And,
He
like,
did, yeah.
So I mean, like, nobody should pick on Jimmy Fallon.
Well, they should pick on him
Because he makes jokes. Look, the guy does not understand comedy. Have you ever seen him laugh? Have you ever seen this president laugh?
No.
He is evil, okay? Look in his eye. Listen to him. He's an evil creature. He is just a horrible thing. And I don't know where this is going to go. I mean, Salem Broadcasting and Nexstar Broadcasting, these are religious right-wing companies that have been silently gobbling up radio and television stations all over the country.
Oh, for decades.
So that they can control the message. Okay? And they flexed their muscle this time when they said our affiliates are not going to run Jimmy Kimmel anymore. And one thing led to another. But they want this, Brendan Carr, the FCC chairman, to relax the rules even further. I mean, there used to be strict rules about ownership, and they were for a reason, so that the message wasn't controlled by one voice.
Well, they can't censor. The FCC cannot censor content. They cannot say that you can't do this. I mean, they're going to go after The View next. We're moving to the daytimes.
Yeah.
And, of course, then, because we got mouthy women
who haven't said
stuff.
a word apparently about any of it. I mean, they're just taking because they're ABC and everybody's afraid. I mean, this is what they do in authoritarian regimes. They want to make you afraid. That's their tool. That's their number one weapon is fear.
And the ultimate goal, again, is to restrict communication and information.
And information, that's true. Yeah.
And keep you poor and sick. Like that, it just doesn't get more clear than that. And
so I don't know. Salem asked for this ridiculous,
is
who are
it Salem
they?
or is it Sinclair?
Well, there's a Salem Broadcasting.
Oh, there is a Salem Broadcast?
Yeah, I believe. Isn't there, Paul?
All right. We'll check that out. But anyway,
sure.
one of the entities.
One of the right-wing Christian media companies, they came up with this list of demands for Jimmy Kimmel. Like pay for Charlie Kirk and his family, apologize. He will not do that. And who are they to tell him to do that?
Especially because the joke wasn't at his expense.
Correct.
It was not about him.
No, it was not about him. No, it was not about him. He made it clear that it was a horrible thing that he was murdered.
Yep.
No one is getting behind that. No one is getting behind that. But the fact that he is a horrible person doesn't make you feel bad sometimes if someone horrible, I mean, it's bad he got killed, but you cannot deny his hateful rhetoric. And anybody that says college is bad, universities are bad, what are you basically saying? You don't want people to be enlightened. You don't want people to have knowledge. You don't want people to hear other opinions. Because that's what school does. It opens up your eyes. You leave your little small town, whatever you're from, and you go away to college, and that's where you're in the world. You know, you're there to be enlightened. These people don't want enlightening. They want to keep you fearful. They want to keep you ignorant, and we can't have it. We're not going to take it. No.
And from one of these, one of the biggest things that I think that I took away, there's a really lovely message that came out from a pastor. I wish I knew so I could credit this quote to him. But just a reminder, folks out there, you do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life.
That right on.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. And here we've spent an hour talking about this man, you know, feeding into this frenzy. But friends out there, you do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life. And I hate the fact that also we're talking, you just now said he is evil. I'm talking about the enemy. This is the rhetoric that we are floating around right now. And we all have got to do better to do that. You know, this is, again, I'm just pointing out, there's no criticism right now, but it's like, this is what we're saying. There is no more common good. There is no more common good. There are people who do not want the best for all. They want the best for me. You know, that is what it is. And that is the real problem. I keep, you know, there used to be that, you know, that Coca-Cola song about like, I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony and buy the world of Coke, you know, but now it's like, I want to teach the world to sing, but only if it's, you know, from this church hymn. And that's it.
That's it. That's your only choice.
We have to do better right now. We have to do better. Do you have something?
Yeah, I was just going to say Salem is the Christian conservative talk and news. They're the radio. They own all the conservative radio and Sinclair owns the TV.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. But anyway, we have to do better. We have to do better, folks, and we have to take a break. So please stick around. You're going to hear some news. We've got the one and only Cameron Esposito kicking off the next hour of Out Chicago. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
Welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here and Ella Miller rolling along.
Yeah, rolling.
On a beautiful day here in Chicago. We are going to make a shift.
Yes, we are.
Well, kind of.
One. Yeah,
Definitely. A little bit later on, this hour, we are going to be chatting with Morgan Fox about the Reeling 2025, the 43rd Chicago LGBTQ plus International Film Festival. It opened this weekend. It just opened up on Friday at the Music Box, and it runs through the 28th. So we're going to be chatting to find out all things about Reeling. And earlier this week, Ellen, you and I had the great opportunity to chat with award-winning comedian, Chicago's very own Cameron Esposito. She's just a delight.
She's a gem.
A gem. And we kind of got into it. It was weird timing just in terms of the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing happening, and what it means to be a comedian in this time. So, yeah, and a bunch of other things that are going on. She's going to bring her show to Steppenwolf.
Can't wait, October 3rd and 4th.
So here is our conversation with Cameron Esposito.
Cameron Esposito is an actor, director, award-winning stand-up comic, best-selling author, and renowned podcast host. And she's bringing her new show, Feet, to Steppenwolf for 3 shows only, October 3rd and October 4th. And joining us now is none other than Cameron Esposito. Welcome back to the show.
Oh my God, thank you. That was such a cute intro.
Look, I'm so excited. I'm always excited to talk to you. You are one of my comedy heroes. I love that you are coming back to Chicago, to the world-famous Steppenwolf Theater. But, like, girl, life has been, like, extra lifey for all of us these days. But I think you might win for the lifiest life lately.
Got just a couple things going on.
Like, how are you?
I'm good. Good.
Yeah, are you sure?
No, I'm great, actually.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
No, I'm great. Yeah, it's been an interesting life, I guess.
Why not?
A lot has gone on.
Yes.
Yeah, in the last couple of years, I mean, I don't know if you had a chance to see my last stand-up special that came out in April, but it was about being diagnosed with bipolar disorder at 40. So that happened.
Yeah.
We're really grateful for that. We love being on medication when we need to be.
Better living.
Better living through pharmaceuticals, absolutely.
Yeah, dude. May we all have the brain chemistry that allows us for our greatest success.
Yep.
Right on. So, and now you've got this new show that you're debuting at Steppenwolf. Tell us a little bit about Feet.
Yeah, well, it's about a near-death experience I had about 18 months ago, and the way that it helped me reconnect with myself, my family, my wife, and move on with life. Healing some wounds along the way, physical and spiritual. And it sort of ends with where I'm at right now, which is, I don't know if you heard me say this, but I'm going to be 7 months pregnant when I'm at the Steppenwolf.
Yes, I know. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, very excited.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm super excited as well. Thanks so much.
Yeah. So first of all, just mad props to you. Whenever I see you perform, the thing that I can always count on from you is just genuine authenticity. Like, you just radiate, like, this is who I am. You are so true to yourself. How, and this boggles my mind, how do you take these really big life events, these life moments that have these very dark undertones to them? How are you able to find the funny within all of that?
Yeah, so this question, I feel like for me, it's what comes natural, because being a stand-up comic means you have an overdeveloped sense of humor anyway. And humor is, for all of us, one of our greatest coping mechanisms.
Right.
So it is that thing of, like, if you don't laugh about it, you're going to cry, or, stay in your basement forever.
Right.
And so I really think it's that. And I also will say that, again, for me, stand-up is really about, hey, our experiences don't have to be the same, but we feel the same ways, even if our experiences are different. And hey, there's people that are doing stand-up that maybe looks a little different than what I'm describing. They're talking about more topical issues like Netflix or dogs. And hey, I talk about my dog too. But really, the whole reason that this art form has captivated me for, 20 years is because I'm using it to connect with people. And I really think that those dark experiences are, that's like when we're our most human, right? Especially a near-death experience. That's one thing that we all have in common, is mortality.
Yeah. But I guess it's just like the thing that I'm always impressed with watching your stand-up or listening to your podcast is just the way that you are. Again, like, you don't get mired down. It's in the tone. Like, there's something always uplifting and positive to try to find out of it. Like, because there's some stuff, like, when I'm on stage that I still can't talk about just because I get too angry,
Right.
And I can't bring, just the anger comes through. But you have this incredible ability to take something and still find the light and the joy within it, even if it is like a near-death experience.
Well, first of all, I'm going to play this for my wife.
She needs to hear it, right?
No, honestly, I will say this. I get as angry as the next person. I also happen to, I don't know. Do you know the word indefatigable? Do you know this word?
Yep.
It's like never be bogged down or can never be bogged down. But one of the first ways that I was described by, oh my God, is his name Jason Heidemann? I'm going to pull that name. 15 years ago, who was writing for Time Out Chicago at the time when it was still had like a print magazine. And he was one of the first people who wrote about me. And that is the word that he used to describe me on stage. And I'm not different on stage than I am off. Sometimes my wife has to be like, we have to stop talking about gardening because it's actually like midnight and we need to go to bed. And I just think I have a lot of energy, and I also have somewhat a tendency to move toward, like, I want to alchemize experience so that it means something. Maybe it's just otherwise I don't feel like I could survive, just staying mired in the amount of anger that as a queer person or as a woman, sort of, or as a non-binary person, all those things is so anger inducing that, I think I feel like I have to turn it into something else for my own self.
Sure. Do you think, Cameron, did you think that comedy today is much more inclusive of queer voices than when you started?
It's a complicated question because when I started, there were no queer comics that were out operating in the mainstream, except for Ellen, right? Like even Wanda Sykes wasn't out at the time. Tig wasn't openly talking about her life. She just talked about other stuff. There were tons of people who were out, but that's why I also use the word mainstream, because they were forced sort of onto a different circuit of cruise ships and P-Town and all that stuff is great, but there was no merging between, queerness in the mainstream. Honestly, huge shout out to Margaret Cho, who was breaking boundaries, being mainstream and, talking about her life. But there were just so many people who weren't, like Leah Delario is a great example, has been working forever, but wasn't really welcomed into the mainstream until Orange is the New Black, which, that's wild. She'd been working for decades. So that's why it's a complicated question, because the answer is versus zero, right? It's like, is it more positive versus zero? No, it's a good question, though. It's a good question.
Judy Gold's been out there for a while. Judy Gold, and I don't know if you're familiar with, Poppy Champlin.
Yeah, there's a ton of, that's what I'm saying, though. Those folks who I've seen a bunch of times, like, they were not getting jobs.
Well, right, exactly.
Playing themselves on sitcoms where people were gay and not a punchline. Like, it just didn't exist.
You're right. Yeah.
There's a massive difference between that and where we are now. I also think that, it's tough in this moment, right? Because everything that's happening culturally is also happening in the entertainment industry, and we have news about that just this week with Jimmy Kimmel's cancellation. And I think what I'll say is that I was just gonna say, when I moved to LA in 2012, it was this moment of like, I don't know if you specifically remember 2012, but it was this beautiful moment, like where it really felt like so much we were on the cusp of so much possibility. And that isn't what I feel like right now. I don't feel like we're on the cusp of possibility. And I think whenever that's happening, it's because there's been a step backward. And I think that even affects like, people in the industry wanting to take risks on showcasing diverse voices. It's a very long answer, but it's true.
I totally hear you. And I would go back to 2012 was when, after you were leaving, I was fortunate enough to, run a queer show at Laugh Factory here in Chicago. And that felt like, something was bubbling and nowadays, and also I have to give a big shout out to the Chicago comedy scene, particularly where it comes to queer voices, because like we have birthed some like incredible people. We've got Mateo Lane, we've got Joel Kim Booster, who are just out there just like doing your stuff. But yeah, I do see the current landscape that we are in, that it does feel like a step backwards that's going on. But yeah.
This is why you have to come see me at the Steppenwolf Theater.
I know.
October 3rd and 4th. How are you? But I have some friends, Cameron, who are in the business who are just shaken by what happened to Jimmy Kimmel this week. How are you feeling about what's taking place and where we're going right now?
I think the biggest thing I'll say is that, this is what censorship is. And for a lot of years, we've been hearing about censorship when people have really been getting feedback about, for instance, actually, I think this joke is super homophobic, and they get feedback, maybe without even any consequences. It's just like people on the internet being like, I don't like that you said this, and then there will be like a bunch of complaints and a whole big article, and people use words like canceled. And I have thought that actually, generally, the consequences have tended to be pretty low. Even, if somebody was known to harass or assault people, they might step from the public eye for a month or, 2 months or a year or a couple of years and then be welcomed back. And I think that this feels different because it's not feedback coming from either one's peers or from one's audience. It is coming from above, right? And so one thing that comics are great at is taking down systems of power. It's like the whole reason we exist. Otherwise, it's propaganda. And that's why this is a new frontier. Because saying something about a marginalized community and punching down and getting consequences for that, even consequences that might be light, is so different than systems of power suppressing one of our greatest tools, which is laughing at them.
Yes. Yes.
So, for me, I just, honestly, in this whole the first time that we were living in this reality, I fought every day. I was out in the streets, I was protesting, I was physically putting my body out there. I did a lot of fundraising, and I believe in all of that. I really believe in all that. I also am older now, I'm in my mid-40s, and I see young people taking that mantle, and I'm so happy that folks are out there. And I'm realizing that my place might actually be in modeling enjoyment of life, because I also think that is a political act as well. It's part of why I'm posting publicly about my pregnancy in this time when we're so concerned about our rights for good reason. Just showing that even amidst all that concern, we still make choices about our future and bet on ourselves and hope for things to be more positive down the line. It's not about ignoring the present, but I think it's just a different approach.
Yeah,
and
see, there's that optimism. Sense? There's that optimism I was talking about. You know what I mean? That was like that is the perfect answer. And I think, getting out and sharing your joy and sharing your experiences at the Steppenwolf, which we got to get to, because I'm interrupting a thought. Because I'm like, girl, you were going to be at the Steppenwolf Theater in the Ensemble Theater. You're going to be performing in the Round. Like, how is that?
Oh my God.
Chicago kid done good,
It really is it's really like the greatest dream, for me. I think it's the two places that, starting out as a comic that I felt like, okay, if I ever get there, that'll really be wild. One is the Chicago Theater, which I have yet to play. And part of that is just that massive marquee. I used to go down and look at the windows at Marshall Fields, and it's hard to miss that.
Oh, come
but something
on,
that's true about the Chicago Theater is that people play there when they are passing through, and that is something that Chicago is. I'm so glad that audiences in Chicago are afforded that opportunity, right? To have people pass through at a very high level. But the Steppenwolf is different, because the Steppenwolf is about celebrating what is and what is created in Chicago. Yeah. And that I also grew up with. My little sister, she took classes there before going to the DePaul Theater School. And my older sister, who moved back to Chicago recently, is very involved in the Chicago art scene. So it's just, it really means something to me because I've not really left those Chicago roots behind, and I can't really imagine a place that symbolizes Chicago more than the Steppenwolf, right?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. It is. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, Chicago stays with you no matter where you go, and it keeps pulling you back. And to have the opportunity to perform, to do your work, your solo show, a new show, Feet, at Steppenwolf, it's just like, you know what? If you were here, I would just give you a little knock across the chin. Way to go, kiddo. You know what I mean? It's like it's just such a feather in your cap. Nice. Look,
it means a lot. It means a lot, and I also want to say, for listeners, the Steppenwolf has national renown, and I know we know this, but Chicago has that thing about having huge local pride, and we should. So here's what I'll say: when I mention in LA or New York that I'm playing the Steppenwolf and that's where I'm debuting this work, everybody's like, the Steppenwolf? Like, you're kidding. So I just want to say, we produce awesome stuff, and this is one of those places that everybody knows about.
Oh, I know, and I cannot wait for the awesome stuff that is your new show, Feet, that is going to be at the Steppenwolf for 3 shows only, October 3rd and October 4th. Run, and get your tickets now because they're going fast. Go to steppenwolf.org and come and find some optimism and some joy in this really poopy world right now. So, Cameron Esposito, thank you so much for joining us today. Break all the legs. We can't wait to see you at Steppenwolf.
Oh man, you're the best. This was so nice to connect. And I love you. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. And kill the people. Yes. Well, but metaphorically, you know what I'm saying, in comedy ways.
Kill them. Get out there. Yep.
Crush it. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out today, Cameron. We really appreciate it.
And I just love her.
She's great.
I just love her. But we need to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Morgan Fox about all things reeling 2025. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Hey, this is Mark Patton, and I'm from Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller. I'm so glad you played that little bumper there, Paul, because My Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, was part of Reeling Film Festival a couple of years ago, and it is that time of year for Reeling 2025, the 43rd Chicago LGBTQ plus International Film Festival, opened just this Friday, and it runs through September 28th. And joining us once again to chat all things Reeling is Morgan Fox. Morgan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me back. It's truly an honor to be with my 2 favorite people in Chicago radio.
Thank you, Morgan.
Flattering
so
is you
everywhere.
How was opening night?
Opening night was truly incredible. I mean, it's one of our biggest opening nights yet. We had 2, big features screened that night, Lesbian Space Princess, and then we also had Plainclothes. We had Lesbian Space Princess, the animated film that was super, super fun and kitschy and also had a big heart. And Plainclothes, the movie that just opened in L.A. and New York, incredible sort of romantic thriller based in the 90s that pretty soon will be nationwide. You'll be able to see it in theaters. But, of course, if you come to Reeling, you get a sneak peek of these films first before they're released. And it was huge. I mean, the energy was incredible, sold-out crowds, and really expanding our audience. A lot of young folks coming, a lot of folks from different backgrounds in different areas of Chicago, and some folks even traveling from elsewhere. So really, really great start to the festival this year.
Fabulous. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by Plainclothes because that's about the undercover, like, sting operation-y kind of things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I grew up in the 90s, So this movie had everything for me. It was like 90s. It's a lot of it's set in a mall because it's about an undercover cop that's basically doing things in a mall, trying to catch gay men doing things they shouldn't be doing in bathrooms. I don't know. And so it has that 90s vibe of a film set in the 90s, the kind of look of it. And of course, it's a true period film in that way.
Yeah.
But I love malls, so it's got the mall vibe. And also the film is just sort of shot it's like a thriller, but almost like an action film at times, dealing with the main characters, the undercover cop's neurosis. Of course, spoiler alert, the undercover cop, likes dudes, so he's kind of conflicted here, and it deals with his neurosis of working through that, obvious conflict there and feeling guilty.
I know. Look, I also grew up in the 90s, and let me tell you, this actually happened to a friend of mine.
Oh my gosh!
But not in a public bathroom. It was they were in a bar, and that happened, and it was very the repercussions were amazing. So again, it's very pertinent and a really interesting take on. And as you said, it's a period piece, a snapshot of the homophobia and the internalized homophobia that happens within our community, and how hopefully now we've kind of moved through that. So, yay! I'm so glad it was such a huge hit for you. What are some of the other features that are going to be coming up this week for Reeling 2025?
Yeah, so, our jobs as programmers is to basically watch all the best queer films from the last year, hundreds of films, and then we filter that in for you all, about 40 features and documentaries, and then a whole slew of short films. So, you're getting essentially a VIP curated look at films that have all been made this year, but haven't yet premiered, haven't yet made it into streaming or anything like that, and certainly not in the theaters yet. They're all great, to be honest, but I'm just going to highlight, listen, today it's a little gloomy out. You might get some rain later. So maybe today you want to get in here in an hour and a half. We have American Schemers. It's a Chicago filmmaker, Jack Newell. He made a film with a lot of Chicago actors. Some of it's shot in Chicago, but it's also sort of a New York-based film that's incredible. Like, the plot is about these two really good friends, one of them being queer, of course, and they basically are robbing the homes of recently deceased people under the guise of being a cleaning crew. And when they do that, they decide to take on the identity of someone because they find basically a will that's under dispute. And they decide to take on the identity of one of these people to try to inherit this huge estate. It's sort of a slap, it's like the film knows what it is. It's a comedy, a dark comedy, and you see some real familiar faces in the Chicago comedic scene. That it's a really, really fun film. Obviously, the filmmaker will be here. Some of the actors will be here. So that's at 2:00 today here at the Landmark. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Morgan, I was a judge for the narrative category, and I watched 5 films. Did they announce the winners yet? I don't want to spoil anything of that.
I don't think they've announced it yet. But
okay, I won't say what I chose, but American Schemers was one of the films that I watched, and it is definitely a wackadoodle, as Scott likes to say.
Total wackadoodle.
But there were some others too. But keep going with some of your favorites.
Yeah. Tonight, Drive Back Home is a really. It's kind of opposite. It's not a fun film. It's also a period piece, similar to Plainclothes, as we mentioned. But this one's set in 1970, and it's a Canadian-based film. He's a familiar actor, Alan Cumming. He plays basically a messy gay queen who has gotten in trouble, similar to Plainclothes, for being queer in public, basically. I won't spoil anything. But he is in jail, and his brother, who's like a grumpy, typical grumpy straight dude, who doesn't really think he can relate to his brother at all, has to go drive 1,000 miles to bail him out and bring him back home. Oh. And so the film is a road trip of them working through their past and getting to know each other more, and work through this pivotal moment that happened in their youth that really shows what the distance between them is about. And it's a really, really great film. Alan Cumming is always a doll and incredible.
He's great.
Yeah, so that's a fun one. That's tonight at 6:30 here. Monday we have Lakeview. It's a wonderful film as well, and we do have filmmakers here from that. Tara Thorne is going to be here. It's basically like there's so many films that sort of do this setting where you go, a bunch of friends take a vacation at like a lake house, right? Mm-hmm. So you get it in the title Lakeview. It's a dramedy, I would say, but also a lesbian romance. And it's just a group of friends who sort of like represent these different archetypes. And they go through all of the stuff that puts anyone, of course, but specifically like the lesbian situationships and romances and sort of talking through all of those things, the breakups, the age gap relationships, the expected babies, all the things that sort of plague them. And it's really great. At the end of the day, it's a film about friendship between women.
And I watched that one. I think that one epitomizes lesbian drama, if there ever was any. The term.
Yeah, it's so.
It's got everything in there.
Yeah, it really does, and it's wonderful. And it's very straightforward in the sense of like, it's not like a film that pulls any hijinks or whatever else. It's a really, I think like that theater should be full. It's a great film, and you don't see a lot of films like this, I don't think.
No, you don't. No. Mm-mm.
I love that. So it seems like, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
No, it sounds like, we've got a lot coming up and a lot to offer. That's one of the things that's so wonderful about Reeling, the the Chicago LGBTQ plus International Film Festival. It's that those who curate this offer up a wide variety of perspectives. You could see films from covering all aspects of the community, which is no small feat because we've got one of everybody, in the LGBTQ plus community.
There's lots of subject matter, for sure.
A lot of subject matter. And one of the things that I also really love is along with the features and the narratives, there are documentaries that are also going to be there. I know we were fortunate enough to sit down last week to chat with the filmmaker behind It's Dorothy, which is going to be showing today, I think at 4:15. It is an incredible documentary. As you said, it might be getting a little rainy. Mm-hmm. But it goes and examines how the character of Dorothy Gale from The Wizard of Oz has become a queer cultural touchstone.
Yep. Love that movie.
Yes.
We love that one. That was excellent.
Yeah, that's an incredible film. I mean, I think that is the thing. Like, we do offer everything for everyone here. That's been always the aim, but this year more than ever, we are really trying to make sure that we're reaching all aspects of the audience here at Reeling. The future of cinema in general, theaters are struggling with getting people out, right? And so it's harder than ever in general. So, of course, film festivals also have that same wall that they're always butting up against to try to get butts and seats. And not only, a half decade ago, we were talking about, we're post-gay, we're post-queer, that everything is sort of normalized and we're all integrated into society, and it feels like we have turned the clock back so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So I do feel like these types of third spaces where we can all congregate safely and truly see ourselves represented and celebrated on screen is really important. Yes. And so, we are doing our best to reach and offer films that represent all of us and give us a space to come and congregate and share that joy and the magic of sitting in the dark and watching our stories reflected back to us.
In times of trouble, it seems like we reach in and deep down and come up with more, especially talking about the artists, the filmmakers. Are you finding that there was more depth and breadth, like this year's the movies that you looked at, the films that were sent to you is there just, how has it changed in the few years that you've been involved in Reeling, as far as the quality and the amount of work that's coming out for the LGBTQ community?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think that what we see now, there was a little bit of a lull there because we had the COVID lull where things really slowed down, and then we had the strikes. So a lot of stuff slowed down, but it's starting to ramp back up really quickly. And, I think what is happening is that the Hollywood machine has stopped funding independent films like they used to. Mm-hmm. And so budgets micro budgets are more popular now, and of course, access to equipment is easier than ever. So it truly is, and literally like an iPhone. I just got the new iPhone, but even like iPhone several generations ago, you can go and shoot a film on an iPhone as long as you have also a sound person and make a film that is like movie theater quality.
Yeah, like Tangerine.
And so that allows 1,000% Tangerine, which is crazy. Like, and the iPhones today are like
even better,
20 times better than those iPhones. That was an iPhone 6 they shot that on.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yes, iPhone 6. But that puts these devices in the hands of so many people. And I do, I'm a filmmaker myself. I started to tell my own story to basically survive as a queer person. And I do see that more and more, that people are telling their own stories, and that's what should be happening. Yes. I mean, there's a film, Dreams and Nightmares is an incredible film that's also today at 4:15 here at the Landmark. It's about a group of Black queer folks basically going on a road trip to find a friend of theirs. And it is made by a Black queer person, and it is a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful film that explores like the surreality of friendships and travel and being present and in the moment. And that's the type of film that, that's the first time I've seen that film in my course of programming reeling, a film like that. So I do think that we have intentionally programming voices that represent the full spectrum of the queer experience. But also it's not a reach to do so. It's not like we're having to choose films of any different quality to make sure we represent everyone. There are films of all parts of the spectrum that are incredible, and we just feel it's an honor to be able to present them to Chicago.
Absolutely. And I feel buoyed that there was such a large turnout for opening night. Because, like you were saying, people are struggling to get butts and seats into the theaters these days. Yeah. I think COVID instilled a kind of maybe even a cultural laziness about, where it's like now everything is convenient. It's streamed. I can watch here. Right. As opposed to what you were saying is like the shared experience, the collective of everybody sitting in the dark, facing one direction, experiencing this film with a group of people. There's something that you can't replicate that when you sit and stream from home.
It's so true. I mean, there is something to, especially when you're dealing with comedies, films that are amped up by sitting next to people who are also laughing out loud. Right. I mean, the same goes for emotional films or whatever else, but there is something so much more powerful when you're also, it's a little harder to reach for your phone when you're in a room full of people that discourages you doing so, there is that laziness, like you said, when you're at home. Netflix, they don't admit it, but there is rumored that they make films that allow you to be able to scroll your phone while watching, meaning that they keep the plot a little loose. So you're not going to miss something if you look away for 5 minutes here and there. And we believe in the theater that, this art form is sacred and that you should come and be able to watch every frame of a film and experience the importance and magic of that. It is a sacred art, in my opinion. Sure. And I do think the power of cinema to transform is something that's very real.
Amen.
Yeah, agreed. And, I always go back to when you're talking about how to change things. I go back to your documentary. This is what Love in Action looks like. It was a very powerful movie about the conversion therapy movement, Love in Action, that was based in Memphis, Tennessee. And your documentary was wonderful, and I highly recommend it. So throwing that out there, saying kudos to you, Morgan.
Yes, thank you. That's very sweet.
Well, it's very true. But speaking of of documentaries, I know we got Dorothy. Are there any other docs that are, because right now I'm craving truth. I'm craving seeing things from a clear perspective. Are there any other documentaries that you want to kind of make sure people look out for?
Yeah, I mean, I think that all of the docs that we have this year are really, really good and powerful. A lot of the great ones have already screened. But we do have, let's see, today at 3:30, Velvet Vision, the story of James Bidgood and the making of Pink Narcissus is a really cool documentary, not only because, I think to me, it's like docs. the wonderful thing about docs is you can go into a film not really caring about the subject, but a good documentary will make you care about it because they're often character focused, in a way that you will just suddenly find yourself so interested in this new thing. So this is we had the documentary of the making of the film Pink Narcissus, which is an incredible queer film of our history. And that film, the documentary screens today at 3:30 here at the Landmark. And then we actually screen Pink Narcissus over the weekend at
fabulous.
Chicago Filmmakers. So you can do a full circle of not only seeing how the film was made and the importance of that film, the impact that it had, but then Sunday at 6 p.m. you can go over to Chicago Filmmakers in the Edgewater neighborhood and watch Pink Narcissus. So to me, that's a really fun journey to be able to do. I love doing that.
That is great. Yeah. I'm so very excited. See, this is what we come to expect from the people at Reeling Film Festival. The quality of programming that is able to kind of connect two different films together. It's fantastic. So, friends, make sure that you run over to the Landmark Century and also to Chicago Filmmakers because, man, that space is so cool. I love it over there. It's an old fire station. But Reeling 2025, the 43rd Chicago LGBTQ plus International Film Festival. It runs through September 28th. It looks like it's going to be raining for most of this week. So hey, let's make some sunshine in the cinema. For a full list of films and schedule, go to reelingfilmfest.org. Morgan Fox, thank you so much for taking time out once again to tell us all about all things Reeling, and have a fantastic festival.
Listen, thank y'all so much. It's always such an honor. I hope that I can somehow engage with y'all throughout the year. And also, hey, tell Jerry I said hello.
I most certainly
nice
will.
To have you, Morgan.
He got mad at me last year. He's like, why didn't you tell him it was my name? And I'm like, okay. Jerry and Morgan have worked together.
I got that
there we are. All right. Again, have a great fest. ReelingFilmFest.org. Morgan Fox, have a great day.
Thanks, Morgan.
Y'all too. Thank you so much.
All right, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments about Chicago right here on WCPT.
Hi, this is Renee Taylor. You're listening to Out Chicago, WCPT 820.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller. Hey, look, if you are a Tom Hartman fan in the Chicagoland area, you're going to have two opportunities to meet the legendary broadcaster and best-selling author on Wednesday, October 15th. From 3 to 5 p.m. that day, Tom will be hosting a labor panel with WCPT's Richard Chu at Ironworkers Local 63 Training Center in Broadview. And then at 7, Tom will be at Max and Benny's restaurant in Northbrook to talk about and sign copies of his new book, The Last American President, A Broken Man, a Corrupt Party, and a World on the Brink. Both events are free and open to the public, but you need to register in order to attend. So go to heartlandsignal.com/WCPT820 and click on either of the two Tom Hartman banners you find there. And also, Max and Benny's is really delicious. Just throwing that out there.
Right.
There we are. Speaking of delicious, the world's lost a delicious man.
My all-time favorite heartthrob
Robert
growing
Redford,
up. He was my favorite. The Way We Were, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I was of a certain age that those movies just resonated.
Of course.
Like they did with so many people.
They did with many, many people.
And I was truly, truly sad to see him go. I remember when I was a kid, my mom would see her favorite film actors, die. And I think, it's so bad to be old. And you're losing all your idols, the people you grew up watching. And now,
Now it's happening. There ain't no getting around that.
There ain't no getting around that.
Ain't no getting around
what
that.
a great man he was. The Sundance Film Festival that he started.
since we're talking about Reeling Film Festival, like Sundance was such an incredible, is an incredible festival that allows independent filmmakers a chance to shine. Because again, we are in this world where it's nothing but like Marvels. It just seems we're just having superheroes and maybe some scary movies. But like, what happened to The Way We Were, or just the quiet movie, like Ordinary People? That's the one that gets me.
Oh my God!
Every time
he directed,
he directed that
and won an Oscar, I think, for his director.
Yeah, and last night Jerry and I sat down and we're like, let's watch All the President's Men. After we had this whole thing,
great one.
We had to stop.
Because it was too real?
Because it was too optimistic.
Oh, it was
you can say that. It's like, oh, look, a free press holding corrupt individuals into account and actually coming out on top. We're like, I don't know if I can watch this right now. It's a brilliant movie. If folks out there, if you haven't seen it, or if you might be one of the younger folks, All the President's Men has to deal with the Watergate scandal.
The Woodward and Bernstein.
If you want to just like recalibrate, maybe watch Network after All the President's Men. I know it's not.
There we go. Yeah. I'm mad as hell.
Corporations buying out.
Yeah. Thank you for that antidote, Paul. But yeah, like there was something. He was one of the last great movie stars.
He was.
Like he was just a movie star.
He was.
He didn't have the biggest range as an actor, but like he was connected to the story, connected to the character. He was always like connected, and then when he popped up on screen, boy, oh boy, what a handsome man!
Handsome, and just everything about him. And
like
he was an environmentalist who cared about things. What were we going to say?
No, I always think of him as like in The Natural.
Yeah, I love The Natural too.
To talk about that movie where like he's basically shot like Sybil Shepherd with like a thing of Vaseline on the lens because he's always just kind of glowing softly with that. But yeah, like he was a true force.
Sad just thinking about it again.
Oh no!
Just because time marches on and it's a reminder. But when you lose your childhood, movie idols, it's. It hurts.
Girl, I know what you're. Hello.
Yeah.
You're talking. I hear you. Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens was really hard for me. I know that sounds like it's a very weird comparison.
And
these two people.
His documentary. I mean, you just really learn a lot that you might have missed along the way about him.
Yeah. Which actually won an Emmy.
It was. Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, it deserved it.
Yep.
We just loved it and cried and laughed and all those things that he made us do in life and in death.
Yes. But anyway, but yeah. So we lost Robert Redford. It was a big one.
It was
for us, and.
Yeah, Robert Redford one day, and then Jimmy Kimmel canceled the other. Two of my favorite in the past and in the present. I felt like the world's ganging up on us right now.
Your guy, yeah. But this last Sunday was the Emmy Awards, and a lot of queer folks done good.
Yes.
They brought home the trophy. One of the best moments for me was it Jeff Hiller? Is that yes, Jeff Hiller from Somebody Somewhere.
Yeah.
Just what joy! I should have been. I did not do my due diligence and find clips because his acceptance speech was truly delightful. About him standing up there saying how like all I want to do is like be an actor, and the world is like. Maybe computers,
But he did it,
and on a show that is so wonderful and sweet and special, like Somebody Somewhere. He was true. It's like in a time where we are telling these gigantic big stories, it's really great to come into like some normal middle-aged folks in the Midwest telling stories, and the ultimate message is like being kind.
Yeah.
Like how wonderful is that? Also, Hannah Einbinder.
Yes.
She won for Hacks.
She'd been nominated, but she hadn't won in the past.
Yes.
It was great to see her getting her flowers.
So she won for Hacks, which is one of my favorite shows. I know she also got a little political at the end.
She did.
And just was like, let's let the F-bombs fly. But
it's her time.
there we are.
Say what you will.
It's true. And because you watch Hacks, yes?
We love Hacks. This is going to be the final season, I heard. They did announce that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
But and I love Gene Smart.
Well, especially now, and Gene Smart, of course, won again.
And I love that they love each other.
Yes.
That they just really feel such a,
connection, a kinship.
Yeah,
of course.
It's
a comedy that is like fronted by two women.
Yes.
Two incredible women
rare.
actors. So that's
an
wonderful.
older woman and a younger woman. It's just, you don't see it.
And Gene Smart, girl, I will watch her do anything.
I don't care how. I hope she wins every award.
I will watch her do anything.
It.
She's great. But also Tremel Tillman in Severance. Have you seen Severance?
Seen Severance, no.
Girl, it's a really good show.
I know, it's on our list.
It's a really good show, and he is quietly terrifying. He's like a really
I've seen him in some
scary presence in there, and he had a great speech too, where he was congratulating his mom, who was there. I mean, how proud! But he was. Good on them, is what I'm saying.
Good on them. On the other hand, Nate Bargatze's hosting fell short, in my opinion. It was just not that good, not that funny. He did a bit about giving $100,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, but said if you go over 45 seconds, we're going to for every second we're going to take $1,000 off. It was seemed like that's kind of a nice way to keep it, tidy and keep the show more brevity, but. As it went on, you just realized it was not a good idea, and it wasn't fair to people because, this is something your whole life has led up to for a lot of these people, whether the writers, directors, actors, whatever it is, and. To feel like if you go over by 5 seconds, you're going to take $5,000 away from boys and girls, I thought was unfair. And I wasn't the only one because that was his only bit. I was telling the guys here earlier, he was on Jimmy Kimmel a week or so ago, and he announced he would be doing shows out of town on Friday and Saturday, and then he's going to fly in for the Emmys on Sunday. And Jimmy goes, "Aren't you going to rehearse?" He goes, "No, I don't need to rehearse." Well, guess what? He needed to rehearse.
The truth. Look at you.
Because when he said that, I thought, how is that show going to really be? And I found out.
Unless he goes, and was rehearsing his jokes out of town. Because, Toledo has his finger on the pulse of the Hollywood elite.
Yeah.
There we are.
The heck he was.
Yes.
But anyway, it was that. It really made for not a great show, to be honest. I was happy for the people that won.
Look, half the time I'm just kind of like, I record it and then just to see the outfits.
Yeah.
Definitely see outfits and just see who wins and the acceptance speeches. I'm also really happy that Noah Wiley won.
I am too.
For the Pit. Because man, oh man, that guy has been at it. And he was a part of that limited series Red Line that was shot here in Chicago.
That's right.
That was made by two of my friends actually who created and directed it. But also on that show he played a gay man on there.
Right.
And
yes, he did. I forgot all about that.
And our good friend Mitchell Fain, he was a recurring role on that show, and he says you will never meet a more kind person than Noah Wiley.
You could just tell, and you were happy. We were really Kathy's a big fan of The Pit. I haven't watched it yet, but I was happy about the people that won for sure.
So I think again, it's all about celebrating community, finding your community, and speaking out.
That's right.
And being great. And speaking of, we should probably wrap things up because that is the very end of this week's Out Chicago. I want to thank our guest, Cameron Esposito. Don't forget to go check out the debut of Feet, F-E-A-T, at Steppenwolf on October 3rd and 4th. And Morgan Fox from Reeling 2025, the 43rd Chicago LGBTQ Plus International Film Festival. It is now running through the 28th.
Yep.
Paul, so great to have you here inside with us again. Congrats on a great job with Patty Vasquez last week. Matt, thank you so much for running everything back there. Ellen Miller, I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Going to Steppenwolf tonight. Should be fun.
There you go.
I'll let you know next week.
All righty. And I'm Scott Duff. And until next week, stay proud.